Domo konnichiwa. Hey guys, this is Dom the Gaijin. Um, and yeah, this is my 1 month AJAT update. I'm kind of going to do this as motivation. I'm hoping I can keep this up for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and yeah, as far as I want to take this journey. So, pretty excited. Um, yeah, let's check my notes here, see what we're going to start out with. Okay, how I got into Japanese. So I've been into Japanese culture and Japanese media for a while. I mean, this is something I've enjoyed watching since I was a little kid. You know, I've been doing like I've been watching anime and Japanese dramas here and there and different Japanese shows through Netflix and whatnot since I was probably like 5 or 6. I mean, I've been watching Naruto since I was a little kid, and I kind of just got into anime from there. And yeah, I there wasn't a specific moment where I knew I wanted to do AJAT. Um, I think I just knew I wanted to do Japanese in general. I do remember. I remember watching. There's a anime called Plastic Memories. I'm not gonna even try to say it in Japanese, but it was yeah, it's like a romance anime. It's very sad. I would recommend it. It's great, but it's very sad. And I can remember watching that when I was, you know, probably in eighth grade or something. Like I was 14, I guess. And I can remember watching that and vividly, like, I just remember because they didn't have dub for that or anything. So I was watching it with the sub, and I can remember vividly being damn, I need to learn Japanese. Like, this is like the language is so beautiful. I don't know. It was like something from like somewhere deeper inside of me. It wasn't like a conscious like, oh yeah, like this is it. This is like I'm gonna learn Japanese. Like I don't know. It was just this deep like goal that I had, I guess. And I don't think it was really until I found out what AJAT was that I was like, yeah, I'm taking this all the way because it kind of fit my lifestyle perfectly, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But yeah, so that kind of leads me into my previous experience with AJAT. So this isn't really my 1 month, my 1 month mark. I'll be honest. I did AJAT for kind of on and off for like a year or two. When I first entered my freshman year of high school, I remember the summer before that in my freshman year is when I really got into Japanese and AJAT specifically. And, um, you know, I remember specifically watching the 3 hour Matt's Japanese Journey classic video. That's how I got into AJAT. I saw that. I remember thinking I was watching like some polyglot like or polygot or whatever, someone that speaks multiple languages. There's a YouTuber named Ikena, I think that was his name. I don't specifically remember, but I can remember watching his content, and he mentioned like somebody had asked him on a podcast or something like what his biggest inspiration for, not his biggest inspiration, but someone he like wishes he could be like or something. I don't remember. And he was like, Matt, for Japan, like it makes you really wonder if you want to learn one language to the max. And I was like, that's interesting, but this Matt vs. Japan guy sounds pretty arrogant. I don't know, like his name, something about like I don't know, his name like Matt vs. Japan or whatever. Like it just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, this guy sounds like I don't know, he sounds too fed up. Like I don't want to look at this guy. And it wasn't until like finally I was like, all right, fine, I'll check this guy out. And I guess I went to his channel and um I don't know. I made my way to the Matt's Japanese Journey video and I watched the whole thing. And remember by the end of it, I was like, this is it. I was like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm doing AJAT. And I went way more into it. I read the AJAT website, not top to bottom, but I read some of the articles and I was like super motivated. And yeah, it took me a little while to figure some stuff out. But once I got set up with everything, I got started with RTK. And yeah, so that was kind of summer of summer before my freshman year of high school, and I was doing RTK, I was cranking it out, and I think I got about 1,500 kanji in. I still have the book here. I'm not gonna pull it out, but I have my little kanji book. So I got 1,500 kanji in. I was making all the cards on Anki. I was writing my own stories. The classic AJAT way. And yeah, I dropped it about I don't even know how long I was doing it for. Probably 3 or 4 months straight, and I was doing like 10 to 15 cards a day. and it was like pure hell. Like that is the one thing that I could never like. I was very motivated, and that was one thing I could never bring myself to finish because I was, it was ridiculous. Like I would wake up. I got what started when I went into high school. I still had to do RTK. I still do my reps, and I would wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, and I would like sit down and do all my reps. And at the end of the night, I would make my cards. And then I travel a lot for like family reasons, and so like on the weekends that I was traveling, I would have to, I would make cards that Friday night, and I would make like some crazy amount of cards um, for the next few days, and then the Monday and whatever. And it was insanity. I didn't really yeah, I didn't enjoy that. And I was immersing the whole time. I was listening to a lot of Japanese podcasts and whatever, and trying to immerse, but it was really not motivating because you can't understand anything. When you're doing kanji and you're immersing, it's like ridiculous. It's just yeah, you don't learn a lot because you're not doing vocab and whatever. So I ended up dropping that. But while I was doing RTK, I was repping Tay Kim's grammar guide as well, which I don't recommend, by the way. If you plan on doing AJAT the, like the official way, like don't do Tay Kim's in the beginning because grammar means nothing to you when you know nothing about the language. Like it's really like you won't get very far in it because you don't have any like basis of the language. You don't know any you don't know any vocab. You don't know how the sentences are structured, and like Tay Kim's, I feel like he kind of assumes some knowledge. Like I don't know. I'm not really. I guess you do whatever you want, and if you read Tay Kim's top to bottom from the start, like you could probably get by, but I wouldn't recommend it until a little bit farther in. But then again, I'm not that far into language myself, so I wouldn't. I'm not gonna give too much advice, but anyways, that didn't really work for me either. I tried to do Tay Kim's, and then I was also trying to do a vocab deck at the same time. It was like one of those core like 2K or core 3K like vocab decks, and I did that for a while. I think I got probably like 500 cards in, or do maybe 1,000 cards in, and like I was fine. But yeah, there was just too much. Like the Tay Kim's vocab and the kanji was like starting to really build up, and like I was getting really demotivated because I was just doing Anki all day, and like I'd wake up really early, like I said, so like I was super tired all the time, and like I mean I was getting good sleep, but whatever. It was not motivating. I ended up dropping Tay Kim's, dropping the vocab deck, and then eventually dropping kanji too. And yeah, then I was free because then I was like, all right, finally I could start sentence mining, like, which was kind of naive because I didn't know anything. So sentence mining was not like off the start. Like finding I+1 sentences when you don't know any words is like really hard when you're trying to use like Japanese media, I guess, like or native media, like native Japanese media. So that was really hard. But yeah, it was yeah, I went from there, and then I started sentence mining. Um, I tried at least, for a while. I remember Brit vs Japan has this one like tutorial. I don't know if it's still up. I did it a while ago, but there was this tutorial where he like basically had this like he used the program Subs to SRS, and he basically downloaded like entire shows using the subtitle files and whatever, and you downloaded it, and it made every line of the subtitle into an Anki card. And what I would do is like I downloaded Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san, which is like Master Teaser Takagi-san or whatever. And I downloaded that, the first season of that, and I was going through that with the Substance like program in Anki. And so I could go one sentence at a time, like read through it thoroughly, and like see if I knew it. And that kind of helped me get a basis for sentence mining, because like then I could kind of get some um, I could kind of get some cards to start and learn some vocab and like start to like figure everything out. And yeah, from there I just started sentence mining, and I did that for a few months. And I tried to do the monolingual transition while I was doing that as well. At that point, I was really not understanding much still. My knowledge was very limited. I didn't really get that much out of any media that I was watching. I was constantly listening, constantly doing, watching shows and whatever. At that point, I was probably getting about 4 hours of immersion every day, if I had to guess. I don't know, probably more or less depending on the day, but yeah, probably anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of immersion, if I had to guess. I don't really remember. That was a long time ago, but yeah, that kind of gave me a good base for that. And then I remember I transferred high schools in freshman, sophomore year. When I went into sophomore year, I was like, I made some friends. I eventually had a girlfriend, and other hobbies took over, and I remember being like, yeah, like I was also I took a lot harder classes in high school, and I started to focus on college and whatever, and I ended up dropping AJAT altogether. I was like, I was doing my reps for a while, like I was still repping all of my decks, like my core vocab deck and my sentence mining deck. I was repping those for a really long time after I quit HI, like probably a year or maybe 2 years. Like I think I dropped it like 2 years or something after I quit HI, which is kind of crazy. So I maintained a lot of that vocab and kind of kept my Japanese knowledge like sort of fresh. Like I didn't really like, it's not like I lost a lot of knowledge, which I'll get to again in a little bit. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. I'm actually pretty proud of myself saying that now, because like it would suck. I would do it at night, like right before I was going to bed. So I'm like, oh, I have to do my reps again today. But as it goes on, I wasn't adding any new cards or anything. So I was just, I ended up just, it got to like 20 cards a day or something, which is not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So, and I knew all the cards, so it was easy. But yeah, I dropped AJAT. I kind of tried to pick it up like on and off throughout the rest of high school. Like I was like, I was not really like serious about it at all in any of you know those times where I picked it up again. I wasn't really like, I wasn't going all in, because again, I had other responsibilities in life at the time, and I was just taking my time was taken up by like a lot of other things. So yeah, and that kind of leads me to, let's see, yeah, where I am today and why I'm coming back to AJAT and why I'm starting from the 1 month once again. Yeah, so I just finished the middle of year exams for my senior year of high school. Um, yeah, my middle of like my midterms, I guess is what they're called. And I was just thinking, because like at this point in American high school, like you don't have to, after midterms, the universities that you're applying to don't check where you are. Like they don't check your grades after the middle of the year, so I can take it kind of chill. And I'm taking way too many hard classes this year, which I kind of regret at this point. But yeah, I'm taking way too many hard classes, so really just getting back into something I enjoy was like something that I was really wanting to do. And as I was doing midterms, I was like, like I'm so done with these classes, and I really want to pick up Japanese again. I started hearing, like I made some friends I made a friend that was Japanese, and like I started talking to her about Japanese culture and everything, and I realized like I still kind of know a little bit, and I was like, I haven't lost all of my knowledge. That good like year I spent AJATting, like, I haven't lost all of that, and I was kind of like talking about it with, I made some other friends that were Japanese too, and I was like, geez, like, like I want to go to Japan again one day, and I can't bring myself, I need to get back into Japanese. Basically, I was like, I found myself falling in love with the culture again, and like everything that I kind of became obsessed with before when I started AJAT, and I found myself like really loving that again, and I was like, yeah, I think I have to start this again after midterms. So I was getting everything ready. I started watching all of my classic videos that got me really pumped up, like Mass Japanese Journey. Not sure if you've ever heard of Phantom Madman. He's a classic AJATter, but I watched a bunch of his stuff again because I really enjoyed his like final AJAT update video. I guess like that always motivated me a bunch because I really liked his story. And yeah, read through some of the AJAT website. This is all while I was like cramming for midterms, by the way, too. I was like any chance that I had that was free time, I was like, yeah, I need to watch some AJAT stuff, So I ended up doing that, and yeah, then midterms ended, and I started going pretty hardcore again. Took me a little bit to optimize my environment, I guess, to try to get everything down again. I had to download some anime onto my phone, and yeah, that is just really, here we are, I guess. Yeah, and I'll get into a little bit. So now I'm gonna go more into like where I am now, and what I'm doing now. So for this past month, what have I really been grinding at? So I wanted to talk about, because this might be a problem that somebody like might have had or this might be good like this might be helpful to someone that is coming back to immersion learning or AJAT as well, because this was a struggle that I had to deal with. So I had this, I had Anki still, but I hadn't been repping any of my cards for a very long time. So they built up a bunch, of course, and it was like it would have been impossible to get them all done. Like I would not have been able to sit down and like rep them all out again. I had like 500 or 600 due or something crazy. So I wasn't like, I wasn't gonna sit down and do that. So I decided that what I was gonna do was I was gonna reset the like all the cards in the deck, like make them all new again, and then I was gonna rep all of them until I redid them all. And then while I was doing that, I was gonna sentence mine in a different deck. And then when I finally got through all of the new cards in my old sentence mining deck, I was gonna combine that in the new sentence mining deck. So then I would be like, okay, I'd be like set. I'd have all my past knowledge, and then I would have my new knowledge, and then like I would combine them, and like then I could just keep going from there. And I actually think that's a great idea. Like, I still think that really works in theory. If anybody is in this situation where they have quit or stopped doing Anki for a while and want to get back into it, I think that's a great idea, especially because a lot of the cards that you have, like, you'll remember them. Like, I know I did them for a very long time. So, I like I said, I was doing it like 2 years after, like, I quit AJAT for a while. I was still repping. So, like, all these cards came back to me, like, instantly. Like, it was not hard at all to rep through these. I will say it was really annoying because I would have to. No, honestly, it wasn't that bad. It was honestly pretty fine. I would recommend that to anybody that is also in that situation. But I found that this is just a personal like thing that happened with me. Like I found that a lot of the cards that I had made before were like really trash. Like the formatting of them sucked, and like a lot of the words, like I still didn't like. I was trying to make the monolingual transition at the time. Right when I was like quitting, like at the end, I was trying to make the monolingual transition, and so like I was using Colbury to make a lot of my cards, and I still didn't like understand a lot of the Japanese definitions at the time, so I would memorize them, and like I still memorize them in my head. I could still repeat like a Japanese definition for a card, but like I didn't understand a lot of them, and I realized that this is just stupid that I'm repping this deck anymore because these cards are like horrible. I only had about 500 or 600, so I was like, all right, I just delete the deck altogether. Because I was like, if I remember the word or if it comes up, I'll just learn it again in my immersion. I'll just mine it again. Like I probably remember it, but if I don't, then I'll just mine it again. So that's kind of that was my thought process for that. And I'm actually really happy about that because I have a new fresh start now, and it's going great. I already have about 300 cards, I think. So yeah, I'm making my way back up, and a lot of these words I'm making cards for right now. I realize I've had in my last deck, and I'm like, okay, I kind of remember this. So it's not that hard to like remake the cards, especially because I didn't have like that giant of a foundation to begin with. So I'm kind of just like picking up where I left off, and it's great. So it's actually going really well. But yeah, that's my experience with Anki and like picking that back up. If anyone else is in that position, I would very much recommend. And also, I want to talk about Migaku, which is like that. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it, but it's if you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with like this tool. It's really good. It's basically it's expensive, so they have sales sometimes. I got it for $250. It's normally 500, which is kind of insane. I wouldn't recommend buying it for 500. If you can wait until it's like 250 again, which is still expensive. It's a commitment. They have monthly subscriptions too, which is fine, but I bought the lifetime thing because I was like, I'm gonna be using this for a very long time. So yeah, it's basically a software that allows you to use it on you can use it on Netflix or YouTube, and it allows you to take the subtitles. It's like a built-in like easy dictionary, I guess. It takes all the subtitles from the Netflix show you're watching and the YouTube video you're watching, and then you can like click on them and see the definitions or whatever while you're watching it, or get the furigana for it, or I don't know. You can customize it so you could understand things better. But the key feature of it is that you can literally click a word, and then it'll instantly make a sentence card for you, and then immediately import it into Anki. You can do this for audio cards, and it gives you like the sentence, the keyword, the definition of the word, an AI description of the word, the audio, and then a picture from the anime, which is like absolutely insane, and the reading, of course. But it's crazy. It's like, and it would literally a click of a button. I was like mind blown when I like originally found out this was a thing. I was like, how have I never found this? I've been agenting for so long, and I've never seen this. Like, this is the best idea ever. It's amazing. It's like really, it made me think a lot about how like like as technology grows, just immersion learning is only going to get easier. You know what I mean? Like this is technology is really like optimizing AJAT to the point where I bet you people can get better than cats like quicker. You know what I mean? Like cats took 18 months. If you really optimize like using Migaku and everything, you could save more time, get more immersion, whatever. You could do all that. I'm sure you could get really good really quick. Um, Anyways, that's besides the point. I use Migaku to make audio cards. As of right now, all of my cards are audio cards, and I'm using Migaku to do that, and it's great. I'd very much recommend. It's yeah, I'm using audio cards because I feel like right now I'm trying to focus on listening and you know yeah, I guess just listening. And I really just reading is not a big priority of mine as of right now. I don't care as much. I can read. I can read hiragana and katakana pretty fluently. Um, of course, kanji not as much, but it depends. I mean, it depends on the. I know kanji from words. Don't really remember any of my RTK, but I know kanji from words. So I know the readings for some different ones and whatever. But it's I'm not focused on that right now. Also, like as of right now, like from everything Matt's been talking about, like it's not, and I totally understand this. I've always wanted to, I want my accent to be, when I'm fluent, I want my accent to be very native sounding. Like I really want to focus on pitch and everything else. So as of right now, I don't want to like destroy that at all by reading and then kind of developing bad habits or like sub vocalizing like different words or whatever in the wrong pitch and then have to break those habits later. I thought it would be impossible, but it would just be annoying. So I'm gonna just focus on reading and listening right now, or sorry, listening, pure like right now. Just that's it for Anki, right? So I would just be doing audio cards. I don't think it really makes sense to do sentence cards. And that's been working really well, and Migaku makes it really easy. So I would recommend that to anybody who's also wants to focus on their listening, or honestly for reading too. Like it's just great for all cards. I recommend it. It's like the most powerful AJATT tool in my opinion. So yeah, this is probably the more exciting part of the video, I guess, or the more interesting part of the video. This is so we'll get now into my comprehensibility and like how much I understand as of right now and how many hours of immersion I'm getting. So I'll start off with how many hours. I'm getting around 5 to 8 hours of immersion every day, mostly passive, and then about 2. It could just vary on the day, depends on how much time I have after I get all my work done or whatever. But yeah, like I get about like 3 hours of active immersion and then like 5 of passive or less. Maybe sometimes it just depends again on my schedule for the day, how much I could fit in with school and whatever. But yeah, so about 5 to 8, which is I'm very proud of, but I need to get those active hours up because yeah, I need to get more active hours in. I mean, passive is great, but like a lot of the times I'm doing something and I'm preoccupied, so I don't really, I have some in right now, like I don't really you know, I'm not really paying attention to it at all or listening. So yeah, I'm trying to get those active hours in, and with Migaku, it makes it really easy to mine while I'm watching, so I don't have to dedicate times anymore to making cards at the end of the night or whatever, so I can get even more immersion in. So yeah, 5 to 8 roughly, and that's again I don't track my immersion. I tried to do that for a week, and again I averaged about 5 to 8, but I hated it so much. It was so stressful. Like it already was hard to get the immersion in, to just pop that earbud in whenever I needed to, but I made it way worse when I was trying to track because then I had to write things down and it was just all over the place. I hated it. So I'm definitely not doing that. I'm just gonna trust myself that I'm not even trust myself. I love doing this, and so I don't have to. You don't have to force yourself when you're passionate about something. You know what I mean? So tracking it, I mean, I know it's a way to like track your improvement and track how much you're getting in, but at the same time, I just love doing AJATT in Japanese so much that like I'm gonna pop this. I'm gonna pop the earbud in whenever I can. I'm gonna watch anime whenever I can because whenever whenever I have time, because it's just I enjoy it. So yeah, that's my take on tracking. But yeah, and then I'll go into now we'll talk about my current level or comprehensibility. So this has really depended on what I'm watching, as you could probably imagine. I have been watching like one of the first animes that I picked back up after when I started AJetting again was I talked about it earlier, but Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san. And yeah, I picked that up again, and I was shocked because I started doing this for a few weeks now, listening, whatever. I understood like a lot. Like I was shocked at myself. I understood like 60, 70% of the show, and I was getting like Like, got so many cards. Like, I was making like 50 cards a day from this show. Like, seriously, it was insane. For the first while I was watching it, it was crazy. Like, I was getting so many cards, and I was just overwhelmed with the amount of cards I had. But I was having so much fun because I was understanding so much. So, and I started watching like Horimiya. It's another one. These are all slice of life animes if you're not familiar with them. But and I was kind of shocked. I was like, Horimiya was definitely. I was like, I thought I was gonna not understand none of that because it was. I know the language in there. It's kind of hard. I mean, for me at least. Maybe not objectively, but yeah. And I was still shocked. I mean, I felt like I could understand a good amount. Like for not chatting for like 3 years. Like this is. I was really proud of myself. You know, I was getting like 60, 70, maybe even 80% comprehensibility in Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san. That might be an overshoot, but I don't know. I was just feeling really good, especially in the first and second season. So I was like, that was awesome. And then I started recently watching Chainsaw Man, which is a newer anime, and I realized like, okay, I still have like it humbled me. I was like, I have a lot. I have a pretty far way to go. When it comes to comprehensibility, because that's a shonen, and the anime, the Japanese in that is ridiculous. I couldn't understand like there were very select few sentences I could understand, and I was like, all right, yeah, I still have a good way to go. You know, I tried watching some drama too, and I couldn't really understand any of that. Like I didn't really get a sentence out of that. Like not one. It was called Long Vacation. It's pretty good, but again, I couldn't understand a lot of it because I was yeah, the drama is harder to understand for me. They're not as clear with the way they articulate things, and it's kind of harder to understand like casual Japanese. Whereas in these slice of life, they're very clear with what they're saying. There's like it's well articulated, like it's very straightforward. So it's like the way they talk in anime is like it's not like natural Japanese. It's more like forced, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's where my comprehensibility is at. Which, to be honest, I'm just enjoying it right now. I mean, if I watch more slice of life, I'm gonna get more cards, and I love slice of life animes anyways. So like, I'm not mad about that. Like that's my thing. Like I am a sucker for like romance, like slice of life, rom com, high school dramas or whatever. I don't or anime, whatever. And that's my definitely like my niche of Japanese, and I'm fine with like mastering that first and then moving on to harder things. But it does get boring here and there. Like sometimes I want to watch like an action packed like shonen anime, um, which I could, but I think I prefer just understanding things a little bit more than enjoying the show. I kind of get more motivated that way. So yeah, I'll probably keep watching more slice of life animes and then maybe move up from there. Depends. I don't know. Um, yeah, that's for the majority. That's my active, I guess. For passive, um, I'm really just listening to slice of life. Like I just whatever slice of life anime I watch last is the one that I'm gonna put in my ear. Right now, I'm listening to Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san. Like as we speak, I'm listening to like the second season of that. But and that's fine. Sometimes I'll pick up words in there, or like I'll remember I made a card for one thing, and I'll hear it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's really cool. Like I remember that now, or I know what that means now. Just kind of reinforcing that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a lot better than it was before for sure. So, and I did mention before that I'm working on my listening more, so that's what I'm focusing on. I mean, I'm trying to watch all of the active immersion that I get is without subtitles, and then if I notice something, I'm like, okay, I think this is an I+1 sentence. I'll unhide the subtitle, and then I'll make a card for it or read it and like figure out what the word means or whatever. So yeah, I'm trying to focus solely on like listening without subtitles. I really just want to get better at listening. That's my goal. So yeah, lots of passive too is helpful for that. Yeah, so that's kind of where I am with AJATT as a whole right now. I'm gonna keep maintaining this until I just get good. Like I'm not really gonna change much of what I'm doing. I really like my methods right now. It's pretty optimal for my routine. I am gonna switch to monolingual at some point, but I really don't think now is the time. Maybe later, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Maybe my thoughts on that will change, but we'll see in the next video. So yeah, I think I want to end this with where I want. What are my goals? I feel like that's a good way to end all of these videos is to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my journey, like where I'm going with this. So I would love to go to Japan at some point. I wouldn't really want to live there, but I think, I'm going into university next year, and the university that I'm attending will have a great study abroad program. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna set that as my goal. Maybe next year or the year after that, I'll head to Japan for a few months, and yeah, I think I'm gonna set that as my goal. I'm not really sure where, but somewhere with not a lot of English, because I really want to talk to Japanese people, and like just Japanese people with no like English influence. I don't want to go to Tokyo and like read all the English signs or, you know, all that. So I want to go somewhere that's less touristy if I can. But yeah, that's my goal. I want to head to Japan, and overall with AJAT, I want to be fluent. I really want to get as close to native fluency as I can. That's my overall goal. Even if it takes me 10 years, I want to get there. I think I love Japanese media already. I mean, at least for their shows. I can't stand Japanese YouTube. That's just so boring to me. A lot of Japanese internet stuff is like really lame to me, but I love anime, and I like a lot of the dramas and the movies, and I'm gonna just milk that until I can get as fluent as I can. So that's the goal, and I think I remember there was a time where I have a friend who's from Japan, like she's Japanese, and I had asked if Matt versus Japan. There's this video. It's one of his first videos. It's right at the same time he made it. It was like he said it was like his peak speaking Japanese. It was made at the same time that his Matt's Japanese journey video was made, and it's just him talking. I'm not really sure about what, because I can't understand it, but I think it was just I heard him talk about like him going to school in Japan or whatever. So I'm assuming it was just about his journey as a whole. But I had asked them if how he sounded, like if you could tell, like if I said if you covered your eyes, would you think this guy was like Gaijin? And she was like, dude, like he sounds 100% native. Like I wouldn't have been able to tell. She was like his grammar and like vocabulary is like it's like perfect. It's 100% perfect. And she was like he's like native at this point. And I was like, oh my god, like hell yeah, like I need to see this through now. Like that's my motivation, because it was like it's just a reinforcement of the that the method works. That immersion learning is the kind of the key. And if you put enough work in, like you'll get that native fluency, and that's really what I'm aiming for. So yeah, I will probably make a 3 month update. I'll make sure I put that on my calendar so I make that. But yeah, until then, I will keep immersing. I'm gonna go do my reps now. It's pretty late. I'm gonna go do my reps, and I'm gonna watch some shows for the rest of the nights. And then yeah, that's it for me. I will see you guys in the next one.